Today we're taking a look at the most important players for the Dallas Cowboys in the 2021 NFL season. Before I give my top 10 list, though, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is the number one most important guy? You'll see mine at the end of the list. However, I'll make note, there's only one right answer, so make sure you put the right one in the comments section. Today's Cowboys video is presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products when you use promo code COWBOYS over at manscaped.com. That link's in the comments section and in the description. Our first player of our top 10 most important guys on the Cowboys roster, the first-round pick, Micah Parsons. Although I don't personally value linebackers all that highly, the Cowboys need Micah Parsons to have an impact this season. They're throwing a lot at him in camp. Middle linebacker, strong side linebacker, / that DPR, designated pass rush role. They are banking on an impact from their first-round pick. They didn't make that many major splash moves as it relates to high-level talent in free agency. They built through the draft, as they so often like to do. They need a hit here. They need Micah Parsons to, at minimum, be a reliable starter. He doesn't have to be Devin White in year one. I don't think he's going to be. But they need him to not be a liability in the same way some of the linebackers have been in recent years on this Dallas Cowboys team. So I'm putting Parsons at 10 as the team's first-round pick. Another defensive player, Donovan Wilson. I put him over Malik Hooker, Damontae Kazee. The Cowboys need a playmaker in that very back end of the secondary. They need somebody to take the football away. And that's what Donovan Wilson did last year. Although the Cowboys, forever ruining my faith in them when it comes to the correct decision-making as to who plays, didn't start Wilson to open up the year, playing Darian Thompson over him. Good Lord. He was impactful. It felt like, especially down the stretch last year, every time there was a big play made by one of the Cowboys' secondary players, it was either Trevon Diggs, you'll see him in a little bit, or Donovan Wilson. 2 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, He is, I think, going to be a starter. Now, could the Cowboys send him the route of Byron Jones where he plays well and then they allow him to leave because they just don't value him highly enough? Sure, that's a possibility, but that's a future issue. Right now, this Cowboys team needs Wilson to step up and be a big-time player entering his third year. Number 8, CeeDee Lamb. Now, if the Cowboys weren't so deep at receiver, Lamb probably would be higher on this list. We'll get to the other receiver ahead of him in just a second. But Lamb has looked awesome at training camp this year. In general, I try to, relax on the hype trains. I think we get ahead of ourselves sometimes. I am full steam ahead on the CeeDee Lamb one, however. He's looked awesome at camp. The second-year jump, it's going to happen. You can get on board and hype up CeeDee Lamb as much as you want. I think he's going to live up to the expectations this year. He would have gone for 1,000 yards last year had he, actually been healthy. He was not, or had Dak been healthy. This year, whether he's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, it doesn't really matter. Lamb's going to be the dude, or at least a dude, this year for the Dallas Cowboys receiving corps. He is going to be an absolute stud. Get on board the train. He's going to ball out this year. Speaking of balls, get 20% off and free shipping on Manscaped products. It's chatsports.com/Manscaped. Use promo code COWBOYS. You get that 20% off and the free shipping. Manscaped makes the best men's grooming tools out there. They're worth absolutely every penny. I hope you have some success off the court, or off the field if you catch my drift there a little bit. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code you see right below me. It's Cowboys. You can get the brand new Lawnmower 4.0, new and improved. It's going to make your life a lot easier downstairs in terms of making sure you look your best. 20% off and free shipping. That link and promo code is in the comment section and in the description. Number 7, Amari Cooper. Now, he was held out for a lot of training camp with injury, and he admitted his rehab has been longer than he expected it was going to be. But I'm not concerned about him that much as it relates to camp. He doesn't need reps. But the Cowboys do need him to be a number 1 wide receiver. Is there a scenario where in 2 receiver sets, the Cowboys use Lamb and Gallup more frequently to make sure Cooper stays healthy? Yes, I think there is. But in most passing downs, they're going to be in a 3 receiver set. And they're going to use Amari Cooper. Talent-wise, you can make an argument he should be higher than number 7 on this list. But this is most important. Because of the depth at receiver for the Cowboys, it is not the end of the world if there is an injury at receiver to somebody. But they need and are banking on their passing game being dynamic. We saw what happened when it was Cole Beasley and Allen Hurns and Terrence Williams without big-name receivers. It wasn't that good. Cooper and Lamb are a big part of this Cowboys offense this season. So who do you think is more important? Get your votes in for me. Type CeeDee for CeeDee Lamb or AC for Amari Cooper. There might not be a right or wrong answer. That's something up to you guys. Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. To number 6, La'el Collins started a fairly heavy offensive run here for the final top 6 players. He missed all of last season with a hip injury. And it was very clear the offense couldn't do what they wanted to do due to La'el Collins and also Tyron Smith, who we'll get to, obviously, due to the backup play. It wasn't very good. The Cowboys need La'el Collins to actually be in the best shape of his life so he can play an entire season. When he did that in 2019, by the way, he was awesome. Allowed 2 sacks, 4 hits, 20 yards, was an absolute mauler in the run game. He was a big factor in the offense's play, why they were pretty darn good despite not great defensive play in 2019. Now, the O-line's important because across the NFL, the depth is not good. That's no different than the Cowboys. If La'el Collins is missing time, that's a bit of an issue for Dallas. Hopefully, that does not end up being the case this coming season. We will keep you covered on everything going on around America's team. So hit that big red button and subscribe if you haven't already. The link is right there below, but come on, you guys are watching on YouTube. All you got to do, hit the red button, subscribe, and get every single video here on America's team. Number 5, Trevon Diggs. Again, this is most important. Not, most, swing player-ish. These are some of the top players on the roster, but also not ranked in terms of best and most talented. I love Diggs' upside. He's not there yet, but the Cowboys are throwing him out there as a number 1 corner. Chidobe Awuzie is gone. Sure as hell not going to be Anthony Brown or Kelvin Joseph or Nashawn Wright and Maurice Kennedy early on. The Cowboys are asking a lot out of Trevon Diggs. And although he made some plays on the football, which is great, don't get me wrong there, the consistency was not there. He got beat a pretty good amount. That's okay. He was a first-year corner. Life as a first-year corner is not easy, but the consistency has to emerge this year for Trevon Diggs. I think it will. I think he's primed for another step forward, but the Cowboys need that to happen. Number 4, and interestingly enough, our last defensive player. That is DeMarcus Lawrence. And the sack numbers have been down the past 2 years. However, that hasn't always been his fault. 2019, the pressure rate was still solid. They just didn't result in sacks. Last year, low on the opportunities. The Cowboys couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. The run defense was terrible, of which Lawrence was the only good player on that side of the ball. And it didn't lead to many prime pass rushing opportunities. In theory, that will be different this year. And a good way to look at this list is if they get hurt, how negatively impacted are the Cowboys? If the Cowboys don't have Tank Lawrence out there, defensive end is a major red flag. Because I like Randy Gregory. He almost made this list. But if the number 2 is Terrell Basham or Chauncey Golston, who's been banged up early in camp, that's a red flag. They need, the Cowboys do, DeMarcus Lawrence. So predict this for me. How many sacks will Tank Lawrence end up with this season? Get your votes in the comments section right now. The top 3 was probably somewhat easy to guess. Maybe the order's a bit of a surprise here. Number 3 is Zach Martin. If you base this on purely how talented they are, Zach Martin's the best player on this Cowboys team. This is a future Hall of Famer, and of that, I have no doubt. Now, last year, due to a calf issue, Martin missed more games than the rest of his career combined. When healthy, This is the best offensive guard in the NFL. Even last year, playing through some nicks and bruises along mostly his lower body. 1 sack, 2 hits, 10 hurries. He is a star, at least as much as an offensive guard can actually be in the NFL. So as long as Zach Martin's healthy, that's a huge piece on the offensive line. And I almost put him at number 2 because the depth behind Zach Martin, beyond Connor McGovern, is non-existent. But in the end, I went with Tyron Smith as my number 2 most important player because he plays a more important position. Left tackle, the blind side, you guys know it, it's more important than right guard. And even though Martin's a better player right now, and I feel better about Zach Martin being out there, Cowboys need Tyron. He's missed time 5 years in a row, and the offense, unsurprisingly, isn't as good without him. Now, he gets dinged for some what I call BS penalties because he's such a massive human being that clean plays sometimes look dirty when it's being made by Tyron Smith. But as the left tackle with Ty Nsekhe, Josh Ball, Terrence Steele, Brandon Knight as the backups, that's a bit of a red flag. Now, that's better than most teams in the NFL when it comes to backup tackles, but it's still not what you really want. So of the big 3 offensive linemen here, since Fred Beard's gone, who's more important? Type TS for Tyron Smith, type ZM for Zach Martin, or type in LC for Lael Collins. Get your votes in right now. The only correct answer, guys, is Dak Prescott. The Cowboys are cooked if Dak Prescott goes down. Stick a fork in them, tank for the rest of the year. If Dak misses the season again, God forbid, they're done. You think Garrett Gilbert's going to lead this team to an NFC East championship? Please. It's not Ben DiNucci or Cooper Rush either. I love the Tom Moore quote, by the way. The Tom Moore quote was the former Colts offensive coordinator asked about, hey, why aren't you giving more reps to the back? Which I think at the time was Jim Sorgi. Just keep that in mind. His response was, if 18, meaning Peyton Manning, goes down, we're effed, and we don't practice effed. That's what the Cowboys are without Dak Prescott. And that's true for most franchise quarterbacks around the NFL, but it's simple. The Cowboys will go as far as Dak Prescott will lead them. He is the franchise quarterback right now, and although the defense has to be better for them to actually go to the Super Bowl, in terms of if Dak plays poorly or gets hurt, I mean, there's no more impactful player on this Dallas Cowboys team than Dak Prescott. The only correct answer is Dak at number 1. Now, we can debate 2 through 10 to an extent, so let me know. Who do you think I left off the list? There were a lot of names I wanted to include but couldn't quite find a way. Among the others I considered were some defensive players like Randy Gregory, who is going to be my number 11th guy. Other players, Tyler Biadasz and Neville Gallimore, are important in the sense that they're kind of swing players. If they play well, that's a really big deal. If they don't play well, that's a red flag, but you aren't banking on them being your superstars. I also want to mention Connor Williams, who gets a bum rap from a lot of Cowboys fans, and also Leighton Vander Esch, who I believe in, but not a chance I was putting 2 linebackers on this particular list.